What in the world's happening in New York City? Major things. Sadly, I think we're just seeing the realization of what our world is going to look like, especially in America. Now today we're going to be talking about not only National Guard presence in the NYC, which we talked about just a few weeks ago, and how important that is for the upcoming weeks, the 2 or 3 weeks away, but what's actually happening with the migrant shelters, the migrant issues, the gangs, another Venezuelan gang taking over NYC. These are important issues because this is representation of what liberal government and really, to be honest with you, lack of leadership really means. Let's dive into NYC today and how it's really just a prerequisite to American cities. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. It does mean the world to us, and we humbly ask if you like it, let us know. Tell us in the comments below. Also remember, we give away something each and every month, hundreds of dollars worth of gifts. This month will be a Vanish holster and also a Modern Needs survival kit, along with some soaps that we hand make here at our homestead. So please make sure you are subscribed. We gave away a prepper bar last month, so you're always entered as long as you are subscribed and commenting and watching our videos with a thumbs up. Thank you so much for being here. Now let's talk about NYC and how the reason it's important is this. Not because I live close to NYC. I actually don't live anywhere near New York City. But it makes it say, well, okay, we can see what's happening in these areas. What it does is just show kind of a premonition of what's going to happen in more cities across America. Because it seems like UK sets precedents. Big cities or big metropolitan areas like in California or New York end up taking precedent and doing those things. And then it just kind of reverberates like a virus across America. Don't tell me it doesn't happen that way. It does. So let's talk about New York City. Now first, let's go into what has been talked about for about 2 weeks now, is the presence of National Guard so prevalent in New York City. Now, you say, oh, well, that's normal. I mean, think, they're having issues in the subways. They talked about bringing National Guards in. Hey, that's not a story. That's not what I'm talking about. A few weeks ago, I brought this up that New York City residents were reporting more increases of National Guard troops stationed in and around the city. Two potential reasons, of course, the activity of the migrant issues and also the fact of theft and thieving in the subways. But here's the biggest issue. They're starting to surround the areas where the courthouse is, where Trump will be taken September 18th during this court case that he's got to be there. Now, this is also the one that's allegedly going to lock him up and either put him on a house arrest or put him in jail. But the reason of having National Guard there is they believe that some of the police unions and police presidents don't support this. So they need a military push just to make sure everything is kept safe. And if they want to take Trump, they're going to need the National Guard. Now, that's the story. That doesn't mean it's true. It's alleged. But there has been several pictures, several photos, and you can search these online. It's no problem finding them, easy, that New York residents are still questioning why there's so much National Guard presence in their city. Now, something that scares me the most is if we get used to seeing National Guard presence in our city, are we looking at a martial law or national style police presence? That's not really what anybody voted for. Remember, we have local and state officials that pretty much handle everything. If the National Guard comes into any areas, it's because they have no control and it's anarchy, or there's a major disaster. Each one of those situations are very bad. Now, New York has become almost anarchy. So pay attention to the National Guard dealing with the Trump scenario with the courthouse. Is this the way that they can play the games to make sure that he can either take him off the rallies to where he has to be house arrest, or they're literally going to perp walk Trump? So pay attention to that story. Now, this brings me to the second story. Before we talk about the second story, a word from our sponsor of today. Debt, debt, debt. Living paycheck to paycheck. Those are terms that we hear all the time. We're up to our eyeballs in debt. Well, we feel like we can't get out. Why? It's because we're paying these crazy interest rates when it comes to borrowing money. Yes, we need to get on a budget. Yes, we need to realize what wants and needs are. But what we don't realize is how expensive it is to buy things on credit and not pay them off. All of a sudden you rack up debts that have interest rates of 10, 15, 20, 25%. Well, that's where American Financing hopefully can come in and help you. In a quick, easy time, go check out my link. It will allow you to see if you can be approved to maybe get some help from American Financing. It may be simply refinancing your home and being able to get a lower interest rate to be able to get some of this debt off of you. This may be the perfect answer for you, to quit paying minimums on high interest debt and trying to find ways to lower the interest payments along with lower the notes. Some people that do this can save hundreds of dollars a month, $800 to $1,000. Think how much money that would be each month that you can save on interest and it's going straight to principal. If you can save money and you can lower your interest rate and so you can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, check out American Financing. They can help you today. My goal is to be self-sufficient, financially independent. You know what? We can't do that if we keep having to borrow money. And we can't do that if we can't pay off our debts. Check out my link below with American Financing and see if their plan works right for you. You will be glad you did. Thanks American Financing for sponsoring today's video. Now let's dive into the second story. The second story is probably the utmost importance because I want you to pay attention to what this Zero Hedge article just said. It says 75% of Midtown New York City arrests are illegals. Veteran prosecution blames the pathetic sanctuary city laws that are detrimental to New York City. It says, in yet another headline that the corporate media will not push, 75% of all arrested Midtown Manhattan recent months have all been crimes of assault, robbery, domestic violence, and 75% of them have been migrants. Pay attention. At any given day, the Big Apple criminal court dockets are packed with asylum seekers who have run afoul on the law. Remember, think about what I just said. Why are we so surprised that they're the ones majority breaking the law? They broke the law to get here. So they had to break the law. They were a lawbreaker to actually get into the United States. They were not asylum seekers. Come on, don't give me that. Most of these are military-age men. So you're telling me they broke the law to get here and they don't have a problem in being a good citizen? Oh, wow. So that means if someone breaks the law, they're probably not going to stop breaking the law. They're going to keep breaking the law. Well, that's exactly what's happening. Listen to this. The problem is made worse by sanctuary city laws that mean New York cops aren't allowed to work with ICE. So if they find something or have a problem, they even can't call immigration ICE or immigration law enforcement. They can't handle it. They have to do it themselves and basically catch and release. All because of liberal politics and no leadership in these towns. Cops are not allowed to work with them. Additionally, the NYPD says it is barred from tracking the immigration status of offenders. So if they don't know they're illegals or they didn't get it from a migrant shelter or the migrant comes out and tells them, they can't even ask. Isn't that unbelievable? According to the report, the sanctuary city laws make it almost impossible for authorities to actually handle the problem. New York City eliminated a tool that got rid of violent criminals. What a mess. Jim Quinn, a veteran former prosecution of the Queens District, said in the Attorney General's office. The sanctuary city laws are completely pathetic and it is disgusting. It's crazy. Compounding the matters, police sources say that the word has gotten so bad among the migrant communities that NYC is soft on criminal policies that they can do what they want. Listen to that. So this refers back to the first situation. If we're soft on crime in our liberal cities and our politicians allow it to happen because they want the votes, they want the consensus, they want the more people there to then sway policy, and while they live in their bricked up mansions along with their bricked up fencing, the normal folks have to live in the chaos that's going on in these cities. Well, all of a sudden it gets out that we're soft on crime, therefore migrants are not worried about it, so they're going to just keep on doing it because they know no matter what they do, they just get a slap on the wrist and get let back out. So therefore, guess what? If police can't do anything about it, the politicians are not going to do anything about it, the National Guard gets stepped in because anarchy takes place. Then National Guard steps in, that becomes martial law. Do you see how that reverberates? Do you see how that just goes all together in one big circle of chaos. As I said before, it is a sick cycle carousel. Now, let's keep on going with this story because it is very, very important. Another Manhattan cop said that they are excluding petty larcenies and drugstores. The number of local arrests involving migrants is easily 75% and probably even more because they're excluding some of the numbers. They can't be bothered with lower end stores. They like Lululemon and Sunglass Hut, said the Manhattan cop, adding that migrants are responsible for most of all pickpocketing and similar crimes in the NYPD, but they can't say anything about it, and they're not even putting these kind of numbers in there because they're just low petty crimes. Undercover officers say that pickpocketing has become huge, even more than it's ever been, and migrants are to blame. This is from an investigative journalist on Twitter. It says, arrest in NYC's Randall Island Migrant Shelter. NYPD senior officers and a significant amount of police presence at Randall's Island. The whole point was they are trying to control these migrant shelters and they're not able to. Remember, our taxpayers are funding this situation to happen along with breaking the law against other taxpayers. So we're funding the problem for them to cause more of a problem, to then have to pay for the problem to be fixed by more police presence or more military presence. Does that make sense to you? So when I see that Kamala's winning in the polls, or that Hochul is going to win New York governorship, or the fact that these liberal mayors are still in control, it shows that we are foolish when it comes to voting. Now I say we, I'm not saying we as in me or you that's watching this. I'm saying as a nation, we are still voting to where 45 to 50% of Americans still believe that some of these politicians that rule these cities are good for America. All the while, you just heard what I said. It basically is you're building a criminal problem, a theft problem. Your billionaires, millionaires, and politicians are not worried about it because ultimately they're living in their mansions with security or with buildings. You're out here in the chaos, and then ultimately you're paying tax dollars to cause the problem to happen because you've allowed them to come in. Not you, but the government has allowed them to come in. Then there's more of a problem because they feel like they're soft on crime, to then therefore military comes in. So you're now dealing with regulated martial law, national police, and the migrants are still getting away with things. And so now they're paying for more police presence, more National Guard to be there because they can't control the migrants in the first place. So now your tax dollars are not only bringing them here, your tax dollars are now going to fund the extra cover for them. And then all the while you have to watch your back because pretty much 75% of the crime is caused by them. And they said even more if you really count the petty stuff that's not even hitting the true scale. And guess what? Because of those good liberal policies and lack of leadership, they cannot tell ICE. So we slap on the wrist, let them go back, and then they just tell their friends that, hey, we can do what we want, we can steal what we want, take what we want, abuse who we want, and nothing happens. But Colby, why is this a big deal? Because you know the problem that's happening in Chicago, in Aurora, now it's happening in New York. Big Venezuelan gang says the New York Post says that Venezuelan prison gangs Tren Aragua, I probably butchered that, from South Mississippi, which has been terrorizing the citizens in this country, has now set up shop in New York, including several shootings, including 2 NYPD officers. The gang has been arming up, smuggling guns into the city, smuggling arms into the city, run shelters and food delivery bags, and in efforts to make sure they can evade the metal detectors. So now the migrant population is pretty much getting smuggled illegal weapons into the migrant shelters. Do we not believe that's not going to cause chaos? We're literally building these sleeper cells in our cities. So this is why I plead with you. You have to get out of these cities, or you have to be proactive and get this leadership away from American cities. These liberal leaders are destroying our cities, and they're going to cause for all-out chaos, anarchy, or martial law because of it. All because we've allowed our cities to fall to people that are not even Americans. It's unbelievable to me. And guess what? The Biden-Harris administration has helped fund it, has helped promote it, and has helped back these liberal cities. So Kamala's already came out and said that now she wants to grant amnesty. She don't want them to be migrants anymore. She wants them to be American citizens, to vote, to have a say. Is this what we as Americans truly want? The Biden-Harris open border policy has combined with these sanctuary city laws to be responsible for this current situation in the cities. That came from officers and even the Attorney General's office. Pay attention to what's going on. Our cities are falling to pieces, and that will reverberate just like a virus into these areas, to where then what are we going to do when everybody's got illegal arms and they're robbing people, they're taking everybody's stuff, and then martial law gets set into the cities, curfews get set into the cities? Is this what we really want in America? Is this what freedom was all about? We need to start being proactive and start fighting for people who fight for us, and not allow this to happen to our cities. One day we're all going to wake up, and we're going to know, because we've been talking about it. One day everybody's going to look back and say, you know what? We've waited too long and it's too late. And now we have to fight for America. Come on, guys. Let's pay attention to what's going on. Thank you again for watching. I hope you get something out of these videos. The whole purpose is to see what happens in the NYC is going to happen across the world and across American cities for sure. And there's people that are standing up against it. You're starting to see countries across the world make sense of the situation and get a hold of it. America still hasn't, so all those people are now releasing their prisons in here. That prison guard from Venezuela. How did a prison gang from Venezuela get here? You tell me. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Again, check out the sponsor of today, American Financing. Again, let them help you. The whole point of what we do is to try to get you in a better spot financially and try to get you more sustainable with your food, with your money, and just making sure that you're taking care of your family. That may be an awesome answer for you. Check out American Financing and try to get out of debt. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless.